Today I am here with my second video on Inchcape Rock. In the first video, because the poem is very long, I have made a video with the poem and explanation and explaining it. So when you watch this, make sure you have watched the first part. This is the second part. We'll quickly, this is on demand of my friends and my students who told me to make a second video where I explain the summary of it. So here I am. Inchcape Rock, also known as the Bell Rock. This is there in the Atlantic Ocean at near the coast of Scotland. So this poem is set in Scotland. This is a huge reef, and which is, this Inchcape Rock. This is a reef actually, and it is very slightly visible to the people on the sea who travel over there. Otherwise, the maximum part of it is submerged in water. If the weather is fine and the waves are very in slow pace, one is able to see this Inchcape Rock or the reef. But if there is a storm and the waves are moving violently and going high, then this whole reef gets submerged in water. And due to this, it is known as a perilous rock, because people who travel, and if there is a storm, they do not come to know that this reef is there, and their ships get collided and destroyed, and ultimately everybody dies. So when this poem opens, we come to know that this poem is by Robert Southey, as we have done in the first part, and we come to know that Abbot of Aberbrothock. Who is an abbot? Abbot is a monk. He is the head of the monastery or the high priest, of the church or a monastery. So this abbot was very concerned about people, and he used to work for the welfare of people, and he feels that something has to be done because of this perilous rock. Now, I don't know whether you all have traveled by sea or not, because many of us have not. We have been traveling by air, by cars or by railways, but sea is seldom we do this now. Previously, people used to travel a lot, and maximum business, things exporting and importing were done by the shipways. So, these ships do not have roads, so they use that compass for traveling. Moreover, in between, there are lighthouses through which you can locate the place where you are. You can come to know the location of your ship. So, even these people, they travel using the maps and all. So, they come to know where the lighthouses are, and they stop sometime at the island or near the lighthouse for, repairing work of the ship and all, because these ships, the traveling by ships are for long distances. So, this abbot was very concerned about people. So, what he did was, there was a buoy, B-U-O-Y, on this reef, and that also, when the waves were high, that was visible, but the rock all around was not visible, and the ships used to get collided. So what he did was that on the buoy he put a bell. So whenever the waves were violent and they reached high, they used to touch the bell started ringing, and people came to know that the Inchcape Rock was there. And people used to bless and praise the Abbot of Aberbrothock. They were so thankful for putting this bell over there, because after that there were no disasters, and people came to know that when they heard the bell ringing, they came to know that there was a reef there, or there was that Inchcape Rock, and so they diverted or changed their direction of the ship. So, when the poem opens, we come to know about this. The weather was fine, there was a big ship and everything was motionless, the waves were moving very slowly and there was no sound at all. Ralph the Rover, he was a pirate. He was very jealous of Aberbrothock because people used to praise him, people used to bless him, people used to, sing songs in praise of him. He was very jealous of this abbot and wanted to do something to plague his reputation, to spoil his reputation. So, one day, it was a very pleasant day, the sun was high, everything was bright, the seabirds were enjoying and everything was very nice. The whole atmosphere was full of happiness. This abbot was also seen, moving on his ship deck and whistling. And, he was very happy. He was full of mirth and happiness. But this mirth was full of cruelty, of wickedness. He at once, he glanced at the buoy and the Inchcape Bell. He saw that rock because everything was visible, the weather was fine. So he saw that rock and suddenly an idea struck him and he told his crewmen to put a boat down because it was a big ship, you can't take a ship here and there. So he told his crewmen, his co-sailors, to put a boat down and to take him there till the Inchcape Rock. So as he had ordered, he was a pirate. He used to plunder ships, he used to loot the people who were traveling. So, and moreover, he was against Abbot. This can also be the reason that because, he wanted people to, reach there. He did not want the bell to be there. He wanted the ships of the people to get destroyed so that automatically, they could plunder the things. Moreover, he was very jealous of Abbot because people used to praise him and people used to bless him and all. So, he told his men to take out the boat. They put the boat down and he sat in the boat and they all took him, they sailed towards the Inchcape Rock. And what he did was, he wanted to plague or he wanted to spoil the reputation of the Abbot. So what he did was, he cut the bell and he went there, he got hold of the Inchcape Bell, he cut the rope of it and down went the bell gurgling in water and all the bubbles all around. It was a heavy bell and it went down because it was heavy so it could not float. It went down at the bottom of the sea and he came back and he was very happy that he has done that, and now he felt that no one would ever bless or thank the Abbot because now everyone, they would keep waiting for the bell to ring and they wouldn't come to know about this rock, and automatically the boats, the ships would be destroyed and people would die. So no one would thank him or bless him. So after doing this, because he was a pirate and his main work was of plundering the wealth of the others, so he went from there and for a few days, for quite some time he went plundering and became wealthy, he used to loot the people in the ships and all the wealth there, so he became very wealthy. After some time, after some days or months, he decided to come back to Scotland because now he had accumulated a lot of wealth. So now when they were returning, everything was fine in the beginning, the weather was absolutely fine, but after some time, because I told you ships are of long distances, the weather deteriorated and it started becoming, it was absolutely dark and it started becoming a little, the waves started rising and the weather became very stormy. Now they couldn't see because there was no moon. So, his sailors were saying that his sailors complained that they were not able to see the moon and they did not know where they were. And moreover, one of the sailors also said that it is quite possible they are near the shore, because these sailors have got an idea, because they keep traveling so much. So when the waves they dash towards a land and they come back, they make a different type of a sound. So there is a different noise that is made by them. So when the sailors heard this, so they felt that there was a shore nearby, but they were not sure about it. So they started complaining because it was all dark and they couldn't see. Same was with the case with Ralph the Rover, because he was not also able to see, but he consoled and he motivated his sailors that the moon would soon be out and everything would be visible. But that did not happen. And just after some time, their ship collided with this inch-shaped rock. And because there was no bell now, the bell had been broken, the rope had been cut, the bell had been broken by Ralph the Rover, and it had sunk down, it wouldn't ring anymore. So this place became a tombstone, became a place of death for Ralph the Rover. His ship collided and got destroyed, broke into pieces, and everything began sinking down. All the sailors and Ralph the Rover, he realized his mistake, because it was he who had cut the bell. He got hold of his head and he cursed himself for doing this. He realized that he had dug a pit for himself. He was digging a pit actually for others, but he fell into it. And as we know, as you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you do good things come back to you. But if you do something wrong, history will repeat. Things will come back to you. What goes around comes around. Never forget this. And he cursed himself for, cutting the bell, and down went everybody drowned. And as he was drowning and sinking, he could hear the bell. And he felt the devil was ringing that bell for him. The bell was at the bottom. The bell had been broken. There was no sound at all, but he could hear the bell, and he felt that the devil was ringing the bell for him, to remind him before his death of what wrong he had done. So we have got a very strong lesson to learn. This is the rule of nature, You do wrong, wrong comes back to you. You do good, good will come back. Yes. So the moral of the poem is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Or what goes around comes around. If you dig a pit for anyone else, you yourself will fall into it. Wonderful poem by Robert Southey. Do read the poem. It's a beautiful poem. It's teaching a very important lesson to us. And also watch my first video where I have explained everything stanza wise, line by line. And yes, do read it very, very well and remember this lesson. Never do wrong with anyone. Because wrong does come back. Alright, now regarding the rhyme scheme, I have brought the book with me with this poem in it. Rhyme scheme is important in this. Now, as you know, how do you recognize a rhyme scheme? When you see the last words of each line. Alright, so stanza wise we'll see. Now in the first stanza, the last word is C, and in the second line, it's B. Then third line has got motion, and the fourth line has got ocean. So how do we take out the rhyme scheme? These are the rhyming words. Alright, C and B are rhyming words, motion and notion are rhyming words. But how do we do the rhyme scheme part? We make this A, we write a small A here, and similar sound, the rhyming word of this will also be A. Alright, motion is a different word, so we make it B. And ocean is rhyming to motion, so this also becomes B. So the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, B. We write it small without putting any dots or commas in between. And when you go through the poem, you will find that it is a regular rhyme scheme. What do you mean by regular rhyme scheme? Regular rhyme scheme means that the whole poem, all the stanzas have got the same rhyme scheme. See, in the second line, I'll just discuss a few stanzas. In the second stanza, we have shock, rock, fell and bell. So shock, rock, A, and fell and bell, B. Same sounds put together. Third paragraph, let us see. Aberbrothock is the first, last line of the first, last word of the first line of the third stanza. Then second is rock, third line is swung, and then comes rung. So Aberbrothock and rock becomes A, and swung and rung becomes B. So in the whole poem, we have the same rhyme scheme. Go through the poem, go through my first video, second video, and still if there is any problem, please do write your queries in the comment section. Do subscribe my channel if you have still not subscribed, and also press the bell icon. That will give you the latest notifications. Do take good care of yourself and remember the rule of nature. Goodbye.